Hi, I'm Sarah Gutterman, CEO of Green Builder Media, and I'm here today at the Vision House Las Vegas with Green Builder Media President Ron Jones and Director of Operations for the Las Vegas division of Beazer Homes, Justin Anderson. They're going to talk with us today about how Beazer Homes is helping the industry cross the Rubicon, so to speak, with respect to their commitment to building zero energy ready homes across all the homes in their portfolio throughout the country. We're happy that you're here today with us to learn about this wonderful journey.
Justin.
Hey, Ron.
Great to see you again. I've been looking forward to this visit.
Absolutely. It's good to have you here.
And we're in the heart of the home right off the bat. We're here in the kitchen where everybody wants to be.
Absolutely.
I really like the openness. I like the illumination. I like the feeling of being tied indoor and outdoor at the same time.
The windows, the lighting, the flooring, the FloorTech product that we've got, it's really lit this room up. So I think we're really got something going here.
It's very comfortable as well.
Yeah.
And also it's a very spacious feel. I like the way it flows from one use to another. It's very nice.
Being able to, the sight line of being able to see right through the space and see what's going on outside, and we're still living in here and we're so comfortable.
Yeah, it's a critical space. I want to ask you, who is the family that Beazer sees living in these homes?
One of the groups that we kind of market to is that newer move-up family. Somebody that's an emerging family that's got maybe a younger kid and they're kind of coming through, they're moving up a little bit. They've probably had a house somewhere else, but they know that, Cadence is the place to be, and this is how they're going to live. They've got that indoor, outdoor.
Ready for more comfort and certainly ready for more efficiency and a little more luxury.
Absolutely, absolutely. Knowing that they can get a product here and the solar array on their roof is going to provide them the electrification that they need to live the way they're going to live.
Yeah, and no compromise in terms of the quality of the products as well. I see you've got extraordinary appliances.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've got, with full electrification, we've got electric induction stove. So we've got that cooktop that you can rapid boil your water and kind of get food cooked and get on with other things.
Exactly. And also, you're not creating a lot of excess heat that needs to be removed. You don't have the noxious fumes from other types of cooking fuels and so forth. And so, also safer.
Absolutely.
Especially you mentioned young families. If you've got young children or intermediate size, you want to make sure that that's a safe place for them.
Yeah, they come up when we're boiling water and they can put their hand up there and you don't have to worry about them putting them on a hot stove or getting burnt by a flame.
And then your countertops and that sort of thing?
Yeah, the Dow tile product is fantastic. We've got the Dow tile on the backsplash, and just the way that it's tying this room from the floor all the way through the cabinets up into the backsplash is beautiful. It's so light and bright.
And then, of course, water is a critical element here. One of the largest users of water in the house, the kitchen. Tell us about that.
We've got Moen FlowSense product. So as you turn the faucet on, you're going to consume less. You're still going to have the quality of water at the fixture, but it's mindful. We're going to use less from the point of hot water tank to the water source. We're using less. We're able to consume pipe. We took a mindful approach to make sure that we've reduced the amount of feet between that. So when you're calling for water, it's there when you need it.
And the nexus between water and energy.
Absolutely.
Every time we turn the faucet on, we don't realize that we're flipping on a switch at the same time. So whether it's cold water or hot water, that the movement, the transportation of water, the purification of it, all of those things matter. And especially in this desert climate. They're not only beautiful, but they're functional.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have some great finishes.
Absolutely. It ties everything together. The way that the finish goes with our hardware and some of the other features we've got in the home, it makes it to where it's one space and you can really tell that it was mindfully put together.
Well, I think that your designers did a wonderful job with the palette as well. I mean, the wall finishes, the ceilings, it just all flows together. You can feel a nice touch.
Sure. Yeah, in Sherwin-Williams, we've got a paint in here that helps absorb VOCs from the air. So
really,
it's a kind of a newer product. It's pretty cool. We're pretty excited about it.
That's pretty neat. Tell me a little bit about the origin of Beezer's commitment to superiority, to moving up to an even higher standard than you.
Sure. So we've been on this journey for more than a decade now. We went and took Energy Star and said we're going to commit to making our homes Energy Star, and each year we've kind of raised the bar on what we're going to do. What's next? What's next? We're going to raise it. We're going to raise it. And this journey that we've got now to where we're zero energy ready homes has been exciting. It's been challenging. We've had some learning things along the way, but to get to the point now where our customers can come into this home and produce enough energy to live off of from their own roof array, it's really exciting.
They must be stunned when you tell them that.
Yeah, it's a change for the buying public to know that I can make what I consume.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a shift in thinking for folks.
You know, I had an old cowboy friend that talked about water in that concept, and he said, when you are a water harvester, you become a water steward. And the same thing is true with power. The same thing is true with electricity. When you are generating your own power, you become an energy steward. And so you're more cognizant of it. You're more likely to not be wasteful because you know what it takes to actually create enough energy to run a house.
Sure.
So it's pretty special. That's got to be a great look in people's faces when they come in and they hear that.
Yeah, they realize that I won't have a power bill. How does that work? We got a connection fee to the grid for that off case that you know maybe something happens and we got to borrow some power from the grid.
Absolutely. But
between the Sonova panels on the roof and our Tesla Powerwall assembly out in the garage, we can make power, store power, and use the power that we're making. It's pretty fantastic.
That's great. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, good stuff.
That's what sustainability is all about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, we touched on the induction cooking and the improved environment that's a result of that. What about indoor air quality in general? What are you doing to approach that?
We've got an ERV system that we have in each one of our homes that we build.
That's an energy recovery ventilator for the uninformed.
Yeah, so the way that works is we're taking air from outside, we're taking air from inside the house, the air that we've already conditioned, we've already paid to heat it, we've already paid to cool it, and we have it cross paths inside the energy recovery ventilator.
Right.
As it cross paths, there's an energy transfer. So we're all breathing constantly, so we're all breathing air that's been purified constantly inside this home. So we've got clean, breathable air inside here, and we're not adding to the pollutants by burning a stove or running with these other appliances that burn gas. So we've taken that and reduced it.
So it's difficult to control the air quality on the outside, but you're able to do it in such a way that air exchange keeps the air clean, but then it also harvests the energy that you've already used to either heat or cool, and it transfers that into that fresh air.
Yes, so we're not introducing unconditioned air from 115 degrees outside Las Vegas
into your 70-degree interior.
We've already paid for that 70-degree air, so as we're bringing it in, it's crossing paths.
Don't want to buy the same real estate twice.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's astonishing that we can find that technology down to the single-family home level.
Sure, and as we're building the home, we've got third-party inspectors that come out and make sure that we're covering the ducts and we're doing the things so that we can get a certification at the end of the home that says this is good quality home, it's a tight build. We've got our HERS number down, we've got our air changes per hour down to where we can live efficiently off our own solar array on the house.
Let's talk a little bit about those third-party certifications, in particular a HERS rating. For the uninitiated, what does a HERS rating mean?
The HERS rating is a home's energy. It's how much energy your house is using. So the higher the number, the more energy that you need. The lower the number, the better. So this particular home, we've got about a 36 HERS rating. If we've done nothing, we've built this house, we've got a 36.
Now that's on a scale, 0 being best, up to 100 being the poorest.
Sure.
So 36 is in a range. If you're in the 30s, you're doing something right.
We're doing some good things.
Yeah.
So as we've added the components to this house, we brought that number down, and when we've introduced the solar array to the roof, we've got this home, the way that it's built, the way that it stands right now is a -2 on the HERS rating.
Wow. And that originates with the building envelope.
Absolutely.
And it originates with the insulated foundation that,
Yep.
that you employ. And I know that's extra expense. I know that people ask you why in the world you would spend money on that. Why would you spend money on that?
We're trying to keep the hot side hot and the cold side cold. So the easiest way to explain that is if we've got hot air outside in Las Vegas, it gets hot here. If we've got 120-degree air outside and we've paid for and conditioned the air on the inside of the house, let's create a thermal break and keep that stuff on the outside of the house. So all the way from the footing, all the way through the roof assembly, we're trying to keep all of that air that we're not conditioning on the side of the wall that we don't have to pay for.
And this is a passive strategy, but it's also permanent. It's there as long as the house is there.
Absolutely.
So the first home buyer or the next occupant of the house or even a couple of generations away would benefit from that without even knowing it.
We've created a durable product for this homeowner and for the next homeowner also. So that durable product, it's going to outlive kind of some of the things that you'd think of as different surfaces within the home. We've got this product on the outside of the house that's trying to keep that air that you've paid to condition on the inside of the house, the temperature you like it.
Yeah, so the comfort, the durability, all of the things that sort of get lost behind the walls instead of all the glitz and glamour.
Yeah.
And that's really, I like to think that the best homes have the best work where you can't see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
We put the care into the work that probably isn't as neat to look at, but when you understand the science behind it, we're trying to keep you comfortable in this house.
I think you've covered them both.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, so now we find ourselves in the master.
Sure.
Tell me about it. I want to know.
Well, we've got our continuation of the PureTech flooring. It runs from front door through all of the main living area. So we've got that. We're still loving on the recycled product that we've got there. Sherwin-Williams, the low VOC eating paint.
Really?
We've got that throughout here. And then as we transition into the bathroom, we've got our Dow tile countertops and the tile surfaces throughout the shower area.
I really love the way the flooring ties the floor plan together, and it allows you to give that openness without a break.
Sure, yeah.
I think that's excellent. And then you said the countertops are the Dow product?
Yeah,
Oh, I
Dow
see.
product.
And then beautiful Sherwin-Williams. Looks like you've got some custom closet setting.
Absolutely. Organized Living has got a organizer for the primary closet, so you can kind of get
Yeah,
your stuff
terrific.
in there and
Everybody could use that.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I could use that.
Yeah, a little bit more organization everywhere.
Terrific. And it's a nice separation. I like the floor plan the way it's close enough, but separated off for a little privacy, a little special status for
It's
the
a little
suite.
retreat.
Yeah.
A little retreat for the
Yeah, you
people.
need to get away sometimes.
Absolutely.
Very nice. I really like the tone of the tile. I like the spaciousness of the shower, and especially I like the natural light. I think that really helps to open the space up, and it highlights all the wonderful products. Also, in this water-starved environment, I'm sure that you guys address water conserving plumbing and fixtures in every way that you can.
Sure. Moen has provided us with FlowSense. It's a product that helps consume less every time you turn a fixture on. We've got every single fixture everywhere. We've got shower, faucet. We've taken a mindful approach to limit the amount of water draw that we're taking from the water tank to the fixture. And it's also allowed us to get a WaterSense certification. So we're doing our part for the environment.
That's special. It's increasingly important in all parts of the country to address the availability and the quality of water. And so this is not something that's going to go away. It's actually going to become more important as time goes by.
Sure, and we're trying to do our part for Lake Mead.
Yeah, absolutely. So every homeowner's dream, enough storage space, enough elegant display for that wonderful wardrobe. This is the Organized Living Select product?
Yeah. So we've got an option for folks as they come through and purchase a home, they can come in and kind of customize their closet to how they're going to live in the space. Help them get the place for longer hanging things, some drawers for storage, and then just trying to maximize the amount of real estate that we've got in here.
Really important because we collect so much stuff and we got to have a place to put it. But more than that, it doesn't get lost. You know where things are, you can find it when you want it, and it just opens up your wardrobe for you.
Yeah, everything's got a place and there's a place for
Yeah,
everything.
it's terrific. Thank you.
Yeah, so some of the cool stuff that we've got going on out here in the kind of the central hub for everything, our Rheem ProTerra heat pump water heater. So it's a full electric heat pump, so it takes energy that's already in the air, uses that energy, and makes hot water.
Wow. And no venting.
No venting, no venting. One of the cool things about it with our climate is as it's taking heat from the air, it's also producing a little bit of cool air. So as it's drawing the energy from the hot air into the tank, it's making all that hot water. As it's doing an exhaust, there's some cool air that comes out here and helps cool
lowers
the space.
the ambient temperature.
Absolutely.
A little bit. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Get that car down to 110.
Yeah, from
130.
from 130 down to 110. But no, it's a really cool feature.
It's amazing.
Super efficient.
Yeah.
And it's just using the power that we're making from the roof.
Well, the whole notion of electrification, where we're going to a single fuel source, in this case electricity, from the sun, simplifies the mechanical to such a degree. You know, for a long time the efficiencies just weren't there, and you would have to oversize units, systems and products in order to get enough production. But that's not the case anymore.
Nope. This thing will keep your family taking hot baths as long as they want to take a hot bath. And it's all from the sun, which brings us into our kind of our next feature we've got out here. With this home, we've got our panels on the roof.
Yeah.
So we've got our full solar array and we're storing it in here and our power wall. So we've got the option to not only have 100% offset in our house, but if we're making more than what we can consume, we can store some of it here. So later on when the sun goes down, late at night, when we want to still have the lights on and still be comfortable, we're using the power that we've already made for ourselves.
So you have more flexibility for things like the clothes dryer or the dishwasher.
Sure.
Those kinds of things. You're not having to time it when the sun's out.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about turning the lights off when it gets dark. You can stay comfortable all night.
If you have some storm surge or something that creates a problem, I mean, life's not perfect, so it's good to have some backup.
Absolutely, absolutely. The way that the energy management system works through here, we've also got a span panel. So it's an energy management system, so as electrification happens, we can have the ability to, if we've got a car that we're charging, if we're running the washing equipment, if we've got the oven running, it's something where we can control how much energy that we want to consume. So if we know that we don't need to drive our car till tomorrow and it's charging now and we've got a lot of consumption, we can turn that down. And with the integrated span car charger, it'll hook up to any car, any brand.
Okay.
It can be adapted and you can control the rate at which your car charges.
Awesome. So you can charge your car after midnight when
Absolutely.
everybody's asleep.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
You can choose to do it while the sun's out. You can choose to do it off your battery, and you can choose the rate that it's going to be charged.
Allows you to prioritize all the systems.
Absolutely.
Regardless of what they are.
And heaven forbid something happens, there's a power outage, and I want to keep the cold stuff in my refrigerator cold. You can prioritize the consumption if there ever is an event where there's no power coming from the grid.
Well, plus it's streamlined. It's beautiful. You know, it's really clean.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you object to anything?
Right.
It's wonderful.
It all fits right in with our light and bright and airy and kind of the way that we live in our homes nowadays.
Well, I think that it also helps us to move in a direction where we look at the built environment through a lens that includes the effect on the natural environment.
Sure.
So as we reduce our dependence on fossil fuels and things that may be detrimental to the climate, this allows us to be participants in that.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's really appealing You mentioned, your target market, a young family. I think people are really aware, and I think they want to leave a better world for their children and their grandchildren than maybe they inherited. So this is something that they can actively do. They can make a decision.
Absolutely.
They can make a choice and say, okay, I'm going to worry about the lowest upfront cost, or I'm going to go for value. I'm going to play the long game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for that entire time that I'm living in the house and whoever's next.
Sure, and the idea of kind of paying it forward and making sure that we're doing the right thing. We've got Mow and Flow Sense in the house, so we're using less water. We've got an irrigation timer that can sense when it rains. So it knows maybe today's not the day that we need to water. You can add sensors if you add on to the product that says, this has actually had too much water, so it'll shut an irrigation dripper off so that you're not overwatering and you're not using more of that precious resource.
Not running down the street.
Absolutely. We'll keep it
amazing.
from running down the street. With the Flow Sense, we've got, as we talked through the house, we were talking about the fixtures and how they were working.
Right.
We've got an automatic shutoff valve on our main. So it's got the ability to sense if there's water consumption happening and it's at a weird time. It's at a different 3 o'clock in the morning, nobody's used water and now we've got this steady drip. This thing can sense it. Through an app, it'll send it to your phone and you can say, hey, I'm at work. There shouldn't be any water running. Let's turn that thing off.
Yeah.
It'll turn off.
Interesting.
Yeah, that FlowSense product it's new and it's pretty exciting.
Or if, God forbid, there should be a leak sometime.
Absolutely.
Whatever the cause might be, it's not going to, really minimize any concern or damage or ongoing issues with that.
Sure. And as we feel the garage, it's nice and comfortable out here. We've got an insulated garage door. Windsor makes an excellent product. It's got insulation on this side, so you can tell we're trying to keep that heat on the outside. Just another one of those thermal barriers that we've got. And also we've partnered it with a LiftMaster garage door. You can have on the IQ app, you can put an app on your phone and see if you left the door. I don't know if you're like me, sometimes you think, oh my goodness, did I close the garage door this morning? You can hook up to the thing and see.
I never thought I would see a garage door opener that's smarter than I was.
Right?
But it's really a relief.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
pretty
nice.
Cool, forward-thinking products.
Yeah. Well, the more things that we can give redundancy to and have control of, just even simple reminders to take care of things, it just improves our quality of life.
It's that durability and sustainability we're all looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. It's terrific. Justin, what do we have here?
So this is our demonstration piece to kind of show people what we do against what industry standard is. So we've got a demonstration of our 2x6 wall framing. It kind of comes through a progression of how we get from we framed the house down to where we finished through the bottom. So if you walk through the progression, we've got 2x6 framing, we've got our cellulose insulation with the netting on the outside of it, and then we come to our DuPont Tyvek system that we put on every house. So each one of the homes that we build comes with Tyvek wrap on the full exterior of the house. It's that weather-resistant shell. We're trying to keep the water on the outside of the house where it belongs. We use a quick flash product around all of our penetrations. We integrate that in with our DuPont flashing tape. Then we move on into our styrofoam and lath down into our stucco process. One of the things that we do a little different than kind of everybody else in the industry is we'll stucco the house, and prior to painting we put our primer on there and we tint it blue on purpose. So we know our buyers, our builders, everybody knows we've applied the product correctly. You can see that it's blue. Then we'll apply our finish to the outside of it. On the industry standard side, we've got a 2x4 wall, we've got our tucked in fiberglass bat, we've got our black paper that's just code, we've got our code lath board, code stucco, and just a paint over the top of the stucco. So we kind of try to demonstrate what we're doing for some of the things that our customers can't see that makes us a little bit different as they walk up and see our product.
Well, I think this speaks to the fact that a house is a system. And so when you integrate all of the elements of the system in such a way that they complement each other and they strengthen each other, the net result is greater than the sum of the parts.
Sure.
So what happens is that when you control the flow of energy, when you control the flow of heat and cold, when you control the flow of moisture, and when you control the flow of air, what you've done is you've created an environment that you can control.
Sure.
And that makes it more efficient, it makes it more comfortable, it improves your indoor air quality in all cases, and the durability is a huge factor as well.
The durability of this wall assembly is second to none.
Yeah.
We've got that when we get to our Indoor Air Plus certifications and our HERS ratings. You can tell that we've really put the time and the effort into make something that's really durable and very sustainable.
The best building is an orchestration of a series of simple steps that result in the maximum result.
Absolutely. We've got a great product that we put out for
Yeah, I
each
think
one
so.
of our customers.
I'm impressed. Justin, I find that people typically take for granted how they can control their HVAC, the resulting environmental control that they have. You have an advanced system that does a lot of things for you automatically, but it also allows you to interface and engage.
Sure. There's some programmability with these. They can kind of learn how you act, how you live, and you can program it to, hey, listen, we know we're going to be out of the house. We can have the house at a different temperature for a little while. It knows when you're going to need the next temperature. It'll turn on and condition the space so that when you arrive home from your long day at work, the house is comfortable and conditioned the way that you like it.
That's really important from an energy standpoint, but also the comfort level
Sure.
is critical.
We're not using energy when we don't need to be.
Yeah, that's it's just something that we just normally don't think about.
Absolutely.
You know, we always gravitate back into the heart of the home, the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I really have to give a compliment to your designers, because what I see here is the functionality that's really important for family utilization. And I like the fact that the heating apparatus and things that might be a little bit of a risk for small children and so forth are separated by this island, which gives you the ability to do your cleanup and so forth. Dishwasher's handy right there. But also it engages people. It keeps the family together when they need to be, and you have a wonderful openness to the rest of the space. So the cook is not isolated,
Sure.
hasn't been banished to that dark room in the corner somewhere. I just think that it's really important to think about how we use these spaces. So what goes into that concept of family use from Beezer's point of view?
So the livability of the space is one of the things that we really consider. As we're cooking, we've got to eat. Everybody has to eat. We're in here preparing a meal. We can have kids sitting at the island.
Yeah.
They can be doing homework. You can interact. There's still the connection. There's not a wall separating us, and we're back, as you said, off in another room, kind of doing things. If we've got little ones that come in, we've got a surface that's up high enough. You know, we're not burning the fuel out here. We don't have to worry about somebody putting their hand in the way of a flame. We've got, you know, a little bit of separation so we can keep the kiddos back, and make sure that they don't come into a dangerous area. But we've got this thought through work triangle. So we've got everything that we need to do right here. We can get our food, we can wash our hands, we can still be preparing.
But it goes beyond that. You know, the basic work triangle is pretty well mastered in a lot of different ways. But what you have here is a great proximity to a more formal dining arrangement when you want it, and to the entertaining of guests. So I just think this is a wonderful layout.
Yeah, and we're capturing the light from the back too. So we've got all of our windows and everything that's blending the light into the spaces to where we're looking through, and we really can, you know, not have to run a light if we don't need to run a light.
And still with a terrific sense of privacy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
You know, Justin, when the green building or sustainable building lexicon emerged, we started really having serious discussions about it. One of the first topics was about waste reduction. And there were a lot of interesting little sayings and so forth. But one is that if you're not buying recycled, you're not recycling. And so what we've seen is an evolution in the production, and a good example is in the flooring product. So not only in your solid surfaces or your laminates and so forth, but in the carpet, in the content as well, but also in that life cycle. So what are you doing with regard to that in terms of your product specification?
So we've got the Everstrand carpeting that is made out of recycled product.
Interesting.
It ties in with our flooring that we had that's made out of recycled product. And then we've also got the VOC reduction that we've got in all of the new products. It's taken a step in the right direction.
So down the road in the future, several years, maybe a decade or more, somebody wants to redecorate or they have a need to replace the flooring, it's going to be recyclable as a product, and it doesn't have the same environmental footprint that we're used to.
Absolutely.
With previous products.
Absolutely.
Every detail matters. Every drop of water shapes the stone.
Sure does.
Yeah, this is wonderful. So following the theme of all things mechanical, what do you say to a prospective home buyer that comes in and says, what do I have here?
What is all of this?
Yeah.
This is the lungs of your house. So when we were talking about that breathing, always breathing, that we always want that filtered air, this is our ERV. So it's bringing that fresh air in, it's making that energy transfer, all of that magic happens right inside of this. So these are the lungs, we say to people, these are the lungs of your house. This is what's making sure you've got that clean, comfortable, breathable air. And then this is what's conditioning the air for you. So it's our heat pump system. So when you need it to be a little warmer or a little cooler, this is the unit that's in here making sure that you've got that comfortability on the inside of your house.
And that's using the energy that's already in the ambient air.
Yes.
So it's around you all the time. You're not paying extra for it. It's just been wasted up to now.
Yep. It's using the thermodynamics to make sure that you've got the comfort level inside your home that you need.
And then you're able to apply this in various zones and layers around the house.
Yeah, so we've got, with this particular house, we've got 2 floors, but we've got 1 unit. So the way we're able to accomplish that is we've got a zoning system set up. So you can call for heat or cool in different zones, and this will tell you this is where we're going to send the air.
And since heat rises naturally, you can cut down on the amount of consumption you have upstairs.
Absolutely.
Whatever you need to do.
Absolutely. That thermostat's saying this room needs a little bit of cooler or warmer air, and this one's okay. So our zone will dampen it down and send the air where it needs to go.
Important. You know, I think one of the most overlooked aspects of exterior design, the facade, is the transition from material to material. You know, it's where the seams are, where one material meets another. And you guys have done a beautiful job, and especially this is a Westlake product, the cultured stone here.
Cultured stone.
The coloration is really important, but the texture is just extraordinary.
Sure.
And so when you go from this wonderful brocade here, and then you have that break in the color line with some three-dimensional feel, and then you go into a natural material that allows you to transition into the landscape, in this case, the hardscape, it really speaks a lot to the kind of thought that goes into the design.
Yeah, and the cultured stone's a really cool product. Westlake's able to recycle the water as they're making the product. So it's just another one of those things where, you know, a manufacturer has taken it and been thoughtful about the process, make sure that they're not wasting as they're
no
as they're
stone
making
unturned.
The product. Yeah, no
Yeah,
stone
that's
unturned.
great.
And then, you know, also we've got the cool roofing system that we've installed on our Vision home over here.
Now, you've mentioned that to me before. Talk about what that does from an energy standpoint and from a durability standpoint.
So there's a couple things that happen. There's a thermal break between the roof deck and the deck of the house. So where the framing is and where the sun is beating on that tile, there's a airspace. So we're taking air from the eave and drawing it up all the way through the ridge. And there's a vent at the top, so we've got that airflow that's moving through there. So we've created a thermal break so you don't get all that solar heat gain that's going to come right through that roof tile right onto a roof deck for a traditionally framed house.
So you've got the roof deck, the subroof, and then a membrane of some kind. You've got the underlayment.
Yes.
And then that air gap reduces the amount of intense heat that penetrates those products, and over time that deteriorates.
Absolutely.
So it increases the lifespan of the roofing system, and it increases the energy efficiency of the whole the whole building.
It sure does.
Wow. It's beautiful too.
Yeah, looks great. So one of the other really cool features that we've got in the Vision House is a heat pump dryer. Not only is it energy efficient, but it's also easier on fabrics and clothes. So as you're capturing the air, you're capturing the energy, you're drying your clothes, you're also taking care of your things.
I always enjoy the behind the walls. It's my favorite part. We were talking about that earlier and how some of the most important parts of the process are hidden. When the job's completed and people are occupying, it's out of sight, out of mind, but it makes a huge difference in the value of their home.
Sure. And one of the things, you feel comfortable inside this house, and we don't even have drywall up right now. With the use of the green fiber product, we've got our blown-in cellulose insulation behind this netting. We've already got that feeling of comfortability, and we've captured this is how we're going to live in this house, and we don't need the drywall on the outside. Obviously, we're going to finish the house, we'll put the drywall up and paint it. But standing here talking to you, I have the feeling of comfort to know that the shell is complete. The shell is where we're keeping everything to the outside of the house.
Well, and you can be confident that there are no voids, there's no settling that you have to worry about. It's not going to be disturbed by the subsequent phases of construction. So that's in place and it's going to stay there.
Sure. And we've got our conditioned attic space. We do in each one of our homes.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit earlier. That's really important because then your ductwork is in conditioned space. It's protected from all the elements that you might be concerned about. And I think that in the big scheme of things, that's one of the most important decisions that you can make as a builder is to determine what is the optimum finish product for that attic space.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're paying to condition that air, and our system doesn't have to work so hard because we don't have to take on all of that heat from the exterior. We've got all of our thermal barriers all at the outside. It's the outside shell of this home. So our ductwork is in a conditioned space where it doesn't have to work so hard to maintain that temperature inside the home.
And and I think that some builders cut corners on that concept because they think that they're going to save a few dollars, but a lot of that is offset by the fact that you don't have to do as much with the ductwork itself.
Sure.
We had a look at the finished product, but it's really fascinating to be able to see behind the walls here and talk about the system, how everything integrates together, and what the purpose behind that is.
Sure. And when we were looking at our deconstructed wall assembly in the sales office, we were talking about the Tyvek assembly and the way that we use the different DuPont products and put them behind there to make our weatherproof barrier on the outside of the house. This is kind of a cool illustration where you can see how all the things come together. We've got our weatherproof barrier out here. We've got the way that our electrical management system comes together and all the lines that run in. We've got it integrated in with our roof assembly for our solar. This is sort of where everything happens in the home.
It's also worth pointing out that all of the penetrations are insulated along the base of the walls. You get that bead there to make sure to cut down on any air infiltration there. And you can't go back and do those things later. It's got to be done in time.
Yeah, and so that's one of the things that we do behind the walls to make sure that we've captured that end product where we've got that comfortability in mind in the house. We've got good quality air that we're breathing. We're trying to be mindful with our resources, and we're sealing that thing up so that all of that weather that we don't want is on the right side of the wall.
And as you've mentioned before, it's perfectly comfortable in here with no introduced control.
Sure.
Now the wiring that we see here is not only house wiring, these home runs that go to various circuits, but this is actually connecting you to the system on the roof.
Yeah, so if you chase kind of some of the penetrations that we've got that go outside, we've got some components for the solar array that go outside. This is one of the units that we've got with their solar system. The lines that run up through here, you can follow them along with that flexible. It's labeled photovoltaic, so you can kind of follow along and see how it goes up and integrates with the roof.
Pretty elaborate.
It is.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. It's they don't call it building science for nothing.
They sure don't.
Thanks for joining us for this tour through the Vision House Las Vegas. Hopefully, you learned something about energy efficient, all electric, healthy, resilient, solar powered homes. For more information, visit www.greenbuildermedia.com.